My name is Leo Vance, and if you've ever felt like you didn't belong, trust me, I get it. At Olympus High, I was the only one without powers, not just in my class, but in the entire school. Here, my classmates could fly down the hallways, freeze water fountains with a glance, or move entire rows of lockers with a flick of their fingers. Meanwhile, my biggest achievement was opening my locker on the first try. No telekinesis, no magic, just a lucky twist of the dial. I was what they called a null. No spark, no powers, just plain old Leo. Sometimes it felt like even my name was ordinary. Walking the halls every day was a reminder of how different I was. Lockers slammed shut with a thought, students phased through walls like it was nothing, and I used the door like some kind of ancient artifact, while everyone else just floated or zipped through. Every day, I wondered if anyone even noticed me, or if I was just part of the background. My parents, also nulls, always told me that kindness and hard work mattered more than any superpower. But it was hard to believe them when everyone else was extraordinary, when every day felt like a competition I could never enter. Olympus High was built for the powered, telepathic announcements echoed in the halls, libraries floated above our heads, and even the pool was heated by a student who could control fire. All I wanted was to blend in, to be invisible in a place where everyone else shined so brightly. But in a world of superpowers, my normalcy made me stand out more than anyone else ever could. Being powerless at Olympus High was like being a ghost everyone could see. And sometimes it felt like they could just walk right through me. My daily tormentor was Jax, a bully with the power to amplify sound. He wasn't just loud, he was a force of nature, his voice echoing down the halls like thunder, impossible to ignore. Every morning, I'd walk into Olympus High with a knot in my stomach, bracing for the next ambush. Jax would sneak up and unleash a shout so powerful it left my ears ringing for hours, while his friends circled like vultures, always ready with a new trick. They'd set up illusions that made me trip, rig my locker to burn my hand, and bombard me with endless taunts that echoed long after the bell rang. They called me Leo the Zero. It wasn't clever, but it was relentless. The nickname followed me everywhere, whispered in the cafeteria, scrawled on bathroom stalls, and chanted in the gym. Reporting them did nothing. The principal just shrugged and told me I needed to be more resilient, as if I could simply toughen up and make it all disappear. The teachers looked the other way, pretending not to notice. After that, Jax trapped me in a soundproof bubble for a whole lunch period. I could see everyone laughing, but I couldn't hear a thing, not even my own voice. It was like being erased from the world, if only for a moment. I learned to keep my head down, eat lunch alone, and take the long way to class, dodging crowds and hoping to avoid another run-in. Every step felt like walking on a minefield. I became invisible, not with powers, but by trying to disappear into the background, hoping if I was quiet enough, they'd forget I existed. But a null at Olympus High was always a target. No matter how much I tried to blend in, I stood out for what I lacked. For bullies like Jax, I was a glitch in the system, someone who didn't fit, someone they wanted to break just to prove they could. Every day, I just endured, holding on to the hope that maybe one day things would change, or that I'd find the strength to change them myself. One rainy afternoon, as I trudged home, Jax and his friends spotted me. Without warning, they splashed me with muddy water, their laughter echoing through the downpour. My clothes clung to me, heavy and cold, and I could feel my cheeks burning with humiliation. It wasn't the first time they'd singled me out, but something about this moment felt different, like a line had been crossed. It was the last straw. I stood there, soaked to the bone and furious, fists clenched at my sides. I wished more than anything that they'd just stop tormenting me. I wanted the world to pause just for a second so I could catch my breath. Then suddenly, everything changed. The world went silent, eerily silent. The rain still fell, but I couldn't hear a single drop. Cars rolled by, but their engines were completely mute, as if someone had pressed a giant pause button on reality itself. Confused, I looked down at my hands. To my shock, a blue light shimmered and danced around my fingers, casting strange reflections on the wet pavement. It was like electricity, but gentler, almost magical. At my feet, the puddle was frozen in time. Ripples hung in the air, unmoving, each droplet suspended as if caught in a photograph. I reached out, half expecting them to move, but they stayed perfectly still. Everything around me was motionless. Birds hung mid-flight, wings outstretched, and leaves floated in the air, caught in the rainstorm. The entire street was like a paused movie, every detail frozen. That's when it hit me. I was the only one moving. Somehow I was walking through a world that had stopped. I could move while everything else was paused, as if time itself had bent to my will. I, Leo the Zero, the kid everyone ignored, could stop time. The realization sent a thrill through me, a mix of fear and excitement. For the first time in my life, I felt powerful. The world that had always pushed me around was suddenly at my mercy. I took a step, then another, a smile spreading across my face. I wasn't powerless anymore. For once, I was in control, and nothing would ever be the same again. The next day, I walked into school with new confidence. Jax tried to corner me, but as he prepared his sonic shout, I froze time. He and his friends were statues. I calmly walked past. When time resumed, Jax's shout hit empty air, leaving him confused. All day their tricks failed. Illusions, heated chairs, nothing worked. I never hurt them, I just outsmarted them. The Zero was suddenly untouchable. Jax and his crew had no idea what happened, and that mystery was my real power. For once, I was in control. The bullies were powerless. Word spread fast. Suddenly, I wasn't Leo the Zero anymore. But I realized it wasn't the power that changed me, it was the courage it gave me. I stood taller, spoke up, and wasn't afraid. One day I saw Jax bullying a younger student. The old me would have walked away, but I stepped in. I didn't use my power, I just told Jax to stop. He hesitated, then walked away. I helped the kid pick up his books, and he thanked me. In that moment, I understood. True strength isn't about powers. It's about choosing to do the right thing, even when it's hard. My power didn't make me a hero, my choices did.